proud to have another opportunity to connect with the community, connect with you all today, and just talk and connect and relate to one another, which is what we do, right? This is what our community does. We relate, we connect, and we just bring folks together. And so I'm excited tonight. We have a wonderful panel. Oh my goodness, if you see these amazing women on your screen, I mean, these are the creme de la creme, folks, okay? These are women on the move, on the rise. They're making change in their community. So I'm excited to hear from them today, to hear from the panel, to learn from them, to connect with them. And I hope you are as well. So I'm going to ask our HR administrator if she would mind dropping in the chat box the bios of all of our panelists. So you have that for your records. We're going to drop that a few times in the chat box, so you have that. But also, we want to hear from you. If you like, go ahead and drop your name in the chat box, your first and last name, your organization, or maybe what county do you represent in New Jersey? You know, we want to hear from you. We want to see who's in the room tonight so we can start making those connections. So I'll give you guys just a few moments to do that. Let's see. Okay, we have Christine Birch all the way from Dallas, Texas. All right. Thank you for joining us this evening. Chef Andre is in the building, of course. That is our COO of our S.O.A.R organization. Of course, we have our lovely CEO, Rosie McCamery. She's on the call. Go ahead and wave, Rosie. Show them how good you look tonight. All right. Okay, we have Tamika from Brooklyn, New York. Okay, Michelle Johnson, yes, from New Jersey. Thank you for joining us. Yes, go ahead, drop your business in the chat box. Let them know where you're coming from. We're making connections tonight. We have a lot of opportunities to connect with each other and network. This is a networking event, right? So let's get to know one another. All right. And I don't want to mispronounce this. So Tunisia, did I get that right? If you can come off mute and correct me if I got that wrong.
It's Tunisia.
Tunisia, thank you. Tunisia.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Thank you for coming. Piscataway, yes, that's Rutgers-town. Yes, Leon McKinley, yes. Our vice president is on the call tonight. Thank you. Leon McCamery, thank you for joining the call. Anita Folk from Frederick, Maryland. Thank you for joining the call. All right, so we have a lot of people. Yes, Serene by Nature, Natural Hair Care Salon. Yes, right here in New Jersey, folks. Excellent. Thank you for sharing that, Michelle. Yes, continue to put your name, your organization, your business. Just continue to put that in the chat box as we make those connections. So right now, what I'm going to do is, there's another way for our participants to get involved, and I am going to run a poll, and it has about 3 questions, and it's just another way to hear from you all. So let me stop sharing so we can see one another a little bit better. And I'm going to launch the poll, and you could just take your time and go ahead and answer that. All right, so the first question in the poll says, how important is becoming financially independent to you? You can go ahead and take a moment to answer that. The next question, number 2, says, do you think you do a good job saving and investing money? That's an important question. And the last one says, what do you hope to gain by attending this event? Do you want some knowledge, larger network, perhaps a little hope? Or maybe you just came here to make a little money, and that's okay too. Want to know how to secure the bag, and we fully support that. So go ahead and take some time to answer that. We have about 50% of you guys have responded to the poll. So I'll keep those up for a little bit so you have a chance to respond. If you are just now joining us, I saw a few people get admitted into the room. Just wanted to remind you to drop your first and last name, your organization, and or business into the chat box so we can connect and get to know you a little bit better. We're anticipating about 40 participants, so the room is almost filled. So that's awesome. All right, we've got about 53 participants who have answered. This is great. Great responses. All right, welcome, welcome, Melvin Rodriguez, Community Manager in Perth Amboy. Okay, nice.
Will you feed your dog? 7.
Oh, please go ahead and mute yourself. Thank you. All right, Heather Rutherford Small, thank you for joining us. Deborah Johnson, thank you for joining us. Awesome. Okay, Heather's joining us from Small House Publishing. Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. All right, I'll give it about 30 more seconds, and then we're going to go ahead and share those poll results. All right, let's go ahead and close the poll. I'm going to share the results so we can look at it together. All right, so for the first question, how important is becoming financially independent to you? So 0, not at all important, 0% low importance, 0 neutral. We have 27% as important and 73% as very important. All right, so we have the right people in the room tonight. Do you think you do a good job saving and investing money? So 54% of you said yes, and 46% said somewhat. Okay, that's good to know. So there's going to be a lot of learning in the room. And the third question, what do you hope to gain by attending this event? All right, 69% of you said knowledge and 31% said a larger network. That is awesome. Thank you so much. All right, I see Gloria Ingram is in the room. I know her. My maiden name is Ingram, y'all, so that's my mom. Hi, Mom. All right, so let's get started. So we come to the part where we hear from our panel. This is the first time we're going to hear from our panel. So panel, we're excited to meet you all. So we're going to ask each member of the panel to answer 2 questions. So you're going to answer, what are you passionate about? And the second question is, what are you working on? Okay, so Tamara, why don't you go ahead and go first?
So good evening, everyone, and thank you, S.O.A.R, for having me on the panel today. So my name is Tamara Souville. I am a community manager for Chase Bank in Roselle. I'll start off with the first part of the question. I'm passionate about financial literacy, which is why I'm in the community manager role. Just being able to help families, help the community break generational curses, being able to ensure that the families are able to teach their kids how to save, how to budget, how to build credit. So that way, for the future, they're not making the same financial mistakes that a lot of us made in our younger years. And then for the second part of the question, currently just working on being able to network throughout the Roselle community, work with nonprofits, work with other organizations that I can continue to deliver financial health.
Awesome. Thank you, Tamara. All right, let's hear from our next panel speaker, Ms. Renee Smith.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to be here. Thank you, S.O.A.R, for the invitation. I'm really excited to be here. I am the CEO of Independent Authors Book Experience, and we are a nonprofit that promote independent authors through various workshops and events, and therefore promoting literacy for all ages. So whereas Tamara is doing financial literacy, we're just doing literacy flat out. What am I passionate about? Literacy. Ensuring that individuals in the community are able to communicate well with each other. I'm passionate about helping individuals. I also work for a nonprofit organization. So my goal is a nonprofit organization that helps the homeless. So my goal is to really help individuals in the community. Anyone that's in need, that's my passion, helping others and helping them to achieve their dreams. What am I working on? That's a loaded question. So I have to preface this with, I'm a Jamaican. So if you know Jamaicans, we have like 1 million jobs. So at any given point, I'm working on any one of them. But all fun and jokes aside, on the professional side, with my IABX, which is my nonprofit, we are promoting our 9th annual Independent Authors Book Expo right now, which is going to be held in the summer. So if anyone's an author, or if you're a vendor and you have products you want to sell or you want to promote your business, definitely check us out. It's an awesome place to be for authors to promote themselves. And the other thing that I'm on a personal side, I'm an author as well. So I write children's books. So I just released my 9th children's book. And this one is really great because I wrote this one with my mom. So my 9th book, but this one is with my mom. So I was really excited. And it's even more impactful because she's an educator and she just had life-threatening surgery. So for her to be able to see her book published on Amazon, she's telling them I'm a published author. So that was really, really big for me. And I'm also working on my 10th, 10th book. So I'm always working on something, but those are like right top of mind right now.
Awesome. Thank you. All right. We're going to hear from Miss Alexandra.
Hi, everyone. How's everyone doing tonight? So just a little bit about myself. My name is Alexandra Bernard Simmons. I'm the founder of award-winning international movement, Think Like a Boss. What I am passionate about, you guys, I'm passionate about all of my people of color. One thing that I always say is every Black community is my community. Okay, so I am here to empower and inspire all of you. And what was the other question?
What are you working on?
Oh, girl. Like Renee said, that is a loaded question. But I guess one of the biggest things that the team and I are working on is we're opening the first Black-owned supermarket to be franchised. And we're actually looking to do it in the Roselle Linden area because I am a Roselle girl, and that's going to be my way to give back to my community, not just Roselle, but us as a whole. Now, when it becomes a franchise, we're going to be opening in other communities of color as well to spread that generational wealth. And it's just going to be a gift that keeps on giving.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you so much. All right. Councilwoman Denise Wilkinson, the floor is yours. Please introduce yourself.
Yes, I'm going to preface it by saying that I'm having a little bit of technical difficulties, but we're going to work through those difficulties because that's what we do as power women, correct?
Correct.
So I'm Councilwoman Denise Wolf. I'm also the CEO of S.O.A.R PR. And I'm in the business of transforming lives, empowering women to live their best life. And I think if we only tap into our passion, we'll be able to kind of move to the purpose that we're here for, which means that once you're walking in you'll be able to excel and push people forward around you. So that's my.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. These are our empowering women panelists tonight. Yes. So if you are just joining us, welcome. Welcome to S.O.A.R, Empowering Women Rise virtual networking event. We are here with our awesome panelists, women of color, who are going to help us today discuss financial independence and wellness. So again, if you are just joining us, go ahead and put your first and last name in the chat box. Let us know where you're coming from, your organization, your business. Tell us a little bit about yourself. And we're excited to have you tonight. So we are right on schedule, and we're going to start with our panel discussion. So let's start with Miss Tamara. So Tamara, what would you say to your younger self about financial wellness?
That's a lot. But if I'm thinking about financial wellness to the younger Tamara, I would say, you're going to experience some financial hardships through your financial journey, but planning for those rainy days will be very important. Learning how to save your money, how to plan a budget, and just remain consistent with that will help you throughout your financial journey.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Ms. Smith, what would you say to your younger self?
Thinking about it, I would say make more investments. One of the things, I'm from, my mom and my dad, they always had, my mom in particular was a saver, and not just saver, but she's into real estate. So my mom's 76, and if she could, she would still buy property. I'm like, relax. But, make more investments to my younger self. Because I did have, having the tools to do that.
Okay. Alexandra, what would you say to your younger self about financial wellness?
I think one of the main things I would say to my youngest self is unlearn everything. And what I mean by that is, unfortunately, sometimes the financial aspect of our knowledge comes from our parents. And with the community of color, a lot of them, are savers, right? They're like, money don't fall from trees, save everything, put it under the bed, the mattress, So to get out of that mindset and understand that getting money is actually a vibration. It is an energy, right? It is an exchange. So you have to understand and not to come from the place of lack and come from the place of abundance in order for that money to start flowing. Sometimes we really just have to change our mindset on money in order to have a better relationship with it. So yeah, I would say let the money flow, sis. That's what I would say.
I have to unmute myself for that one. That was amazing.
Yes, we got some in the chat said unlearn. They love that. Councilwoman Wilkinson, what would you say to your younger self about your financial wellness journey?
Well, I think it's important to know that money isn't everything. But it's really walking in your passion that will bring that to you. And like you have billionaires now who have had many endeavors and have failed ones before they got to the billions. And so my advice is don't focus on the money, focus on who you can be of a service to, do your business, and the money will follow.
Awesome, awesome. This is great. I'm excited just from the first question, right? This is Women's History Month, and we have all these beautiful women of color doing their thing. All right, so our next question is, we're gonna go right back to Tamara. If there was something you could change in the finance industry, what would it be? I know this is your area, so I'm excited to hear your response.
I would say the access to the resources and tools. So, I mentioned earlier, being a community manager, I'm able to be that liaison, the advocate for the community, be able to give the access to those resources and tools, host financial workshops to be able to help the community with their, financial concerns, answer those financial questions, and a lot of times also give access to the partners that I work with that may be able to help, whether it's somebody that's a business owner or somebody that wants to become a homeowner. So Renee, your mother can definitely give us a call. But just being able to really, really hone in on what's important to the community and how can I now add value to that.
Awesome. Ms. Smith, same question. What would you change about the finance industry?
I think I'm piggybacking off of Tamara because I think one of the things in the finance industry is access to not just the information, but the products and the services that they offer. A lot of the times in our community, in our people of color community, and I'm saying that because that's where we are, we don't have access to that. And even if we do get access to some of those products, they're at such a higher rate that it's almost, I don't want to say impossible because that's not a word I like to use, but it becomes challenging for us to be able to take advantage of these products and services that they do offer. So one of my things is making sure that we have access, but also making it, not the word is affordable, but making it accessible to us to the point where we can actually take advantage of the products and services that they do have to offer. And that's one thing I would want to change in the finance industry.
Thank you. Alexandra, how would you answer that question?
Show me the money. That's the answer, right? So we have a lot of organizations and corporations that want to now give to Black and Brown communities and businesses, and I want to see more of that, right? Unfortunately, percentage-wise, a lot of women and women of color were not getting the same amount of funds or just getting denied funds in general for capital for their business. So what I want to see change is showing us the money. Put your money where your mouth is, right? Secondarily, one thing that Think Like a Boss, we do so many things. We do events for women, we do retreats, we have the book, we have the podcast, we have the TV show, right? All for this type of knowledge. But what I want to start seeing for even us, one of our big dreams is to become a venture capitalist for businesses of color, to show y'all the money. So that is what I want to change within the financial industry. But before we do that, we want to see them change within the financial industry.
Awesome. Councilwoman Wilkerson?
I think one of the biggest things, and I think two of the ladies touched on it already, is really the ability to get capital. Every entrepreneur that I know in my arena has started their business with their own money. That is not fair. That is not giving us a level playing field. And until we get capital, we're going to have that kind of problem and struggle. So access to capital.
Access to capital. Thank you. I'm just repeating that because I know there was a little bit of feedback behind you. Okay. The next question is, Ms. Tamara, how has financial wellness impacted your life and the lives of those you love?
So I love my family. And both my parents are actually Haitian immigrants. They both came from Haiti. And so when I think about their journey, leaving Haiti, coming to America, they not only dealt with the language barrier, but then, something how we just talked about the access, the resources, the tools, when it comes to banking, understanding what the American banking system actually is, how it works. They were in Haiti. You didn't need credit. You didn't need credit to become a homeowner. But here in the US, you do need credit to become a homeowner. So if I would have, really think about their journey and how it impacted us, was just the fact that being immigrants, they had to learn and quickly adapt because they had 2 kids to feed, they had family to take care of back home. And so it was a learning process. And obviously a lot of days of struggle, but they finally, when they were able to overcome those things, was from financially planning.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. I love hearing the story of your family as well. Ms. Smith.
So it's when I thought about the question just now, I think of impact on my life, financial wellness. And I think of my parents, and I think of the 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 model they set for my siblings and I. So my mom is a teacher, but she just didn't stop at being a teacher. She went and she became a principal. She opened her own school. Now she's been running her school for over 30 years. So for us, we got um, that same mindset and that same thought process. Okay, so I'm a writer, I'm an author, but now I'm a publisher. So it's not just stopping at that first page, it's going on. My brother is a pharmacist. Now he has his own pharmacy. So it's, so she's teaching us, or they have taught us the tools, they've given us those tools. So when I think of financial wellness, and my parents weren't rich. It wasn't that. I remember I was just home with my mom and she was telling us the story of how she bought the first house, and the first house cost $10,000. And she was like, back then it was like $2 million and the down payment was $200. I'm like, these numbers don't even make sense. She's like, I borrow from Alexandra and Latoya and Denise and me buy, but she got that. But when I think of that, you know, making a dollar out of 15 cents. That's what she did. And she taught us how to not let your circumstances dictate your financial journey. Because when you hear my mom's backstory and to see where she is now, it really it's very impacting. So for us as children, we really took that and we ran with it. So we all have our own businesses that we run and people that we serve in the community. So that would be the impact that they have had on my life and now my children's life, if you will.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And I just wanted to add, even when planning this event, we even marketed in a way of generationally reaching out, bring your sister, bring your aunt, bring your family, right? Because it's about generational wealth. So I appreciate you sharing that. Alexandra, how has financial wellness impacted your life and the ones you love?
Financial wellness has impacted me by allowing me to have more freedom, right? To me, entrepreneurship is freedom. Being financially sound is freedom. It gives me space to be passionate and gives me space to actually lead and inspire from a cup that is full, a cup that runneth over, and not a cup that's going to make me empty and, tired and hit a brick wall. But with even that being said, that is also that generational I don't want to say curse, but generational, weakness that's being severed. So when you clear your generational weaknesses, you clear the generation before you and the generation after you, right? So now my mother is also able to enjoy the fruits of my labor. And now my son at 17 already has 2 businesses, right? So now when they're able to see things like that, they're able to move a little bit differently. And sometimes we are brought here to break those generational weaknesses within our families. And one way could be through the financial wellness.
Thank you. I love that. Councilwoman Wilkinson?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, awesome. So yeah, no, I kind of think I have the same background as Renee. So my grandmother was a pastor. She taught us very early on that you can monopolize anything. You'll be able to produce funds to support whatever your initiative is. She used to make dinners for the church so that we could get a new building, right? And then my mom she worked in a grocery store. The man sold the store. She brought it. She bought the building. Then she bought many buildings, and she has buildings in multiple states around the US. And so we were always taught that there is always a way to monetize your talents. I think that's huge. And then also the freedom. So you do get freedom. I can't remember a time I couldn't have a conversation with my grandmother, right? She didn't work for anybody, but you could always come in and get that wisdom. My mom was always available. And I have a granddaughter that is, she had sickle cell. And so, for 2 years, we had to keep her out so that she can be alive. But I was lucky I would have the freedom to be there and to let my daughter continue to prosper while I let her go to work. And then I kept my grandchild, and nothing's lost. And so she's alive, we're doing well, and we just thank God for that freedom to be available. When it comes to community work, I'm free. At night, late at night, I'm sending emails to the county to get help for residents. In the daytime, I'm taking calls. I'm available. And I think that's a huge thing for me. I love it. Wouldn't go back. 20 years in corporate, wouldn't go back.
Understood. The power of owning your time, right? Okay. So, Tamara, what challenges? This is a loaded question. I know we said that earlier, but they just keep getting a little bit more loaded. Okay. What challenges or successes have you faced gaining financial independence?
I'll share the challenges because I feel like a lot of times we focus on the success, but we never tell people what we have to do to get there. So for me, the main challenge was in the beginning, I had no idea what I was doing when it came to money. I didn't know how to manage my money. I was okay with living paycheck to paycheck. I was okay with, okay, I get the money, I spend it, go shopping, and then okay, I knew I was making the money back in another 2 weeks when I get paid again. Right. I was okay with living like that. But so it's not until I started really working in the banking industry about 9 years ago that I realized like I need to save. I need to save for emergencies. I need to save for that day that my car may break down, my bills that I may get behind on, utilities. And the older you get, the more that you learn that responsibilities come along the way that you can't, reach out your hand here and there. Hey, can you help me? Hey, can you help me with this? Because you're an adult, right? You have to take responsibilities. So for me, was I think a challenge growing up because I didn't have a clue what I was doing with money. But once I figured it out, I never looked back.
That's awesome. Thank you. Renee?
Um,
Written,
Challenges or
uh,
successes. I would
the
say successes. I'm struggling with the challenges, but I know they're, when you're trying to gain your financial independence, there's so many things that you go through. And, I was never, I'm not a spender, I'm a saver. I'm not the kind of person to spend. So like I said, I saw my mom saving and whatever she needed, because you don't have that access. So she was always saving, and she always said, whatever you need, you can save towards, put money towards your goal. She called it knotted. And it's not until I got older that I understood that it was an African thing that they used to do. And they used to save money in cloths, and they would knot bundles of money together, and they would put them together. And she said, okay, I need to get the car wheel knot for it. And I didn't understand until I got older. But I didn't do the physical knotting of the coins, but I definitely understood what I needed to do to achieve the financial success and the independence. So I don't know, I'm struggling with this one in terms of successes. I just know that I was able to, because of those tools, I was able to have some financial successes, gain financial independence using those tools. And I'm not sure if I answered the question, but that's when I think of that, that's what I think of in terms of success. Being able to save in that manner and knowing how to save.
Thank you. Alexandra? What were some of your challenges and successes?
Yes, one of my challenges was basically failing my way to success, right? My first business was trash. Let's be honest, right? It just didn't work. And sometimes you have to know what does not work so you know what does work. And I think that was one of my biggest challenges. When you don't have the example, you're literally pioneering, this idea, and you're being the pioneer for your family and for your community. And there was really no one there to bring the ladder down or show me the rope. So it was really just learning everything myself. And I think my biggest success is once I learned everything myself, when they say once the student is ready, the teacher appears. And that's exactly what this movement is actually about, right? The fact that one of my biggest successes is that we are now an international company. We have Boss Tribe in London. We have Boss Tribe in Toronto and Montreal and all these amazing places. And it's because of those failures that have turned into stepping stones. So just do not give up. And you have to sometimes fail to get those lessons.
Failure into stepping stones. I hope everyone has their notebooks taking these notes. There's gems being dropped tonight. Council President Wilkinson, can you hear me? Are you able to answer that?
Yes, I can hear you. Go ahead and rephrase the question for me, get my juices going.
Sure. What challenges or successes have you faced gaining financial independence?
Well, I think it's a case of the people around you not being prepared for you to take flight. I come from a corporate background, made good money. Of course, my mom would say, "Are you sure?" I had started my firm and used to go to work in the daytime and go to my office, rented the office and everything at night. And then when I was really ready to leave, she said, "Are you sure? I don't think you should do this." Everybody I knew, we're raised in America that the job is the thing that you have to do. You work until you die. But guess what? That's not the life that you deserve. And so one of the things that I had the biggest challenges was people really understanding I'm not crazy. I know there's more that God has for me, and to courageously move forward in that, even when everyone around you can't see it. Trust me, God sees it.
Yes, and that's so true. That's part of what was mentioned earlier. Some of those things, like Alexandra said, we have to unlearn that work until you die mentality. That's one of those things that need to be unlearned. All right, so ladies, as you know, we are here representing women of color. So this next question is, do you feel your gender or race impacted your financial wellness journey? And if so, why? So this is probably a supersized loaded question. So Tamara, what would you say about that?
So I'll start by saying that I didn't really acknowledge that I was a double minority until I was probably in college, right? Being Black and being a woman. But at the same time, I did not want to allow that to deter me from reaching my goals. I didn't want to allow stereotypes or biases to be true. So in my mind, I always try to stay away from that thought process that because I am a woman, because I am Black, that I will not get opportunities. Instead, walking into the room with confidence, I'm qualified for this job, I'm qualified for this role, based off my credentials and not based off my gender.
Awesome. Renee, what would you say to that?
Do I feel my gender or race? When I enter the room, I don't bring those titles or labels with me. I bring what I bring to the table. When I started working in corporate America and I worked in the finance, insurance industry, and we had upstairs, downstairs, and across the hall. There were three Black people, one upstairs, me, one downstairs, and one across the hall. And at the time, I had my MBA, and I was, I think, the youngest person in the company at the time. And there were only three other people in the company that had the MBA, the CFO and the CEO. And they're like, "How did you get that?" Every day the excuse was different. I bought it, I found it on the street. But when I come into the room, I don't bring my labels with me. I bring my knowledge, I bring my strength, I bring everything that I have with me because I belong at the table. I have earned my spot, and I don't believe that I should wear those labels when I go into the room, because that's not what got me there. So I don't wear those, even though as I walk in the room, you'll see, but I don't wear them because I don't let them be a hindrance for me. So that's what I would say to anyone. Don't wear the labels, wear what you bring to the table.
Thank you. And as I mentioned earlier, we do have a bio sheet with all of our panelists. It has their beautiful pictures, write-ups about them and their businesses and their links, so you can find them even post this call. So please go ahead and take advantage of that link in the chat box that was just shared with you. So Alexandra, I'm going to pivot that question to you. Do you feel your gender or race impacted your financial wellness journey? And if so, why?
I want to say no so bad, but I would be lying. So before I became a full-time entrepreneur, I worked in technology. And we're talking about a young Black woman in tech, talking about cloud computing, you know, big data, all types of things, open source, right? I was just really a lone wolf in that field. And I knew and I noticed that my counterparts were making a lot more money than I was, even though I was still showing up like the boss that I am. When I would even go into the boardrooms and I was actually the leader of the meeting, they would try to undermine me and cut me down, knowing that I had the knowledge to be there and I was supposed to be there. What did I take from that though? To be completely honest, it made me a beast. It made me a beast in business. Everything on your journey matters. And if I did not go through that corporate America, you know, journey to making six figures for them while I'm managing $1 million for them, I would never become a six-figure business right now. I'm a six-figure business right now because of how they treated me then and what I was able to acquire and learn then. And now I'm working on seven figures because I was handling their 7 figures. We can make the money for ourselves that we have been making for these large corporations. So did they try to get me? Absolutely. But what doesn't kill me make me strong. That just makes me stronger, right? So that's exactly what I've been focused on there. And then what was the second part of that question?
If so, why? Why has race and gender impacted your financial wellness journey?
Right, just because it has, right? But then even when I got into business, full time, I still saw it in the banking industry. When I went to get my first loan, and that business plan was so stellar, kind of like with Renee with the degree, right? They kept asking me who wrote it. This double educated, double degreed woman that just came from the 6-figure corporate job wrote this business plan. I'm gonna need y'all to take it and look it over and run me my money.
There you go. All right, Council President Wilkerson, same question.
I'm just going to say, excuse the noise behind me, but I do think that race plays a factor. It should be the thing that pushes you into your purpose. But I will say this, that outside of capital, I don't think it matters. I remember when I first came into, I'm sorry, I'm at a thing. But when I first came into thinking about going into to my own business, there was an office downstairs in the office building, and they literally, I would go and stand. In fact, I'm going to come back and answer that question later on. Can I do that?
Sure,
Can I do that? I have a very good answer for it.
Sure. All right. So just keeping with our schedule, I just want to ask one more question. And this question is very dear to S.O.A.R as an organization, because as you know, we support underserved youth in our local communities. And so right now we're actually getting ready to start our next pilot series for business and entrepreneurship. This is an amazing program, which I co-direct with my husband on, and we offer classes, actual classes for the students in our community on exact topics that we're talking about today. So we have a fundamental track where we go over some of the basics of financial independence and wellness. And then we have an advanced track where they actually begin to pitch their business ideas. They get to do an entire presentation on their ideas. So for everyone in the community that's on the call, please go to our website. The actual page on our website is being shared with you now. It's our Virtual Business Entrepreneurship Youth Bootcamp Spring Series, which is starting this coming April. So if you know any youth in the 9th to 12th grade who would be interested, and this is nationwide, please share this with them. This is absolutely free, an 8-week series where they can learn about a lot of the topics that we're talking about today. So please go ahead and share that with all of your networks and your communities. This is a networking event, so we're networking and connecting with you. So this next question is very important in relation to that. And this question is, what advice would you give aspiring young entrepreneurs who have very little knowledge about managing money. And then the second part of that is, which I may have to repeat, I know, knowing what you know now, is there anything you would have done differently during your journey to becoming financially independent? So the first part is, what advice would you give to aspiring young entrepreneurs who don't know much about money? And then the second part is, what would you have done differently? So Tamara, would you go first? Thank you.
Sure. So first, I would say you are the future CEO of Fortune 500 companies. You are the future entrepreneurs. And so don't let what anyone tell you or what society is saying to deter you from those ideas and those dreams. And for the second part, invest your time in any hobby that can generate you some income. Invest your time in that. All entrepreneurs start with the small hobbies. They start with the side hustles, and then it turns into a Fortune 500 company.
Thank you. Renee?
An aspiring young entrepreneur, I would say, make your plan and work your plan. Put your plan in place, write it down. They say write it down so that you can and make it known to the world. You're not going to share everything, I'm just saying, but write your plan down, write your ideas down, and then do your homework, do your research. Make sure if it's something that you are passionate about, take the time to do the research to find the work. Just like Alexandra said, you start working on your business plan, because not because maybe you're not looking for a loan, but what that does, it creates in your mind the space of what you want to achieve. So that business plan really solidifies and puts it in place. Okay, this is what I want. This is what I want to do. This is what I want to achieve. And it makes it more real for you. So I would say to a young entrepreneur, definitely do your homework. And if there's anything that you don't understand and don't know, don't be afraid to ask questions. Definitely, there are so many tools out there now, even though there are tools out there, but sometimes the resources. But what you can do is definitely, grab a book, go to the library, go online, do some research, get the information that you need. There's no reason for anyone to say, I don't know, or I didn't know, or whatever. I mean, do your research, because you can do it. Whatever you put your mind to, definitely go with it with gusto. Don't listen to the naysayers, because people are gonna come at you. What do you want to do that? What? And sometimes it can be right in your circle, your family, your friends telling you, no, that's crazy idea. Some of the craziest ideas and the people who did them are billionaires. So I want to say to you, one, go for it, do your research, and don't listen to the naysayers. What's the other? Knowing what you know now, is there anything else that I would do differently?
Yes.
Release the fear. Release the fear, because I think one of the things that sometimes holds us back when you start off, because things will get hard. They will get hard. The struggle is real. And as an entrepreneur, especially if you don't have the loans, if you don't have the backing, a lot of it you're doing yourself. So you have to really put that fear, literally walk on that fear, and just, I'm a person of faith, so I pray. And on my board, my motto is, the money will come. So whatever it is that we plan or we're working on, and no matter what the money is, I said to the board, the money will come. And I want to say 9-10 times out of 10, the money does come. So prayerfully, but you have to put that plan in place. Release the fear, just work it and release the fear. I think that's what I would say. Just go for it.
Thank you. Alexandra, what would you say to our young entrepreneurs?
Well, first, I love the young people, right? I am so happy that you guys have this program in high schools. I always say it's great to catch them at this age when their brains are still want to be so creative and they just need that outlet, right? It's so great to get them before the corporate world snatches them up. But one thing that I would definitely say is dreams only work if you do. Like, that's just something that I push to even adults now. We have to understand that we have to put in the work to get the results, right? We have to plant these seeds and water it in order to see the fruits of our labor. So I think that's one of the most important things. I know the second part of the question is what would I have done differently? I want to share something that I've actually done that helped tremendously. We have to understand that we have to live within our means. And what that means is you could actually be financially secure and financially free with only $50,000, right? It's really perspective. One of the big things that I jumped and I did when I went into entrepreneurship, because I was making six figures, y'all. My first company at that time was only generating $30,000. I had to figure out how to go from making 200,000 to making 30,000, right? And it was all mindset, because all we do is have all these materialistic things that we do not need. We're spending money in places that we do not have to spend. I became an absolute minimalist and was able to live off of that 30K until that 30K became a 200K, right? And it's really knowing how to spend your money and living within your means to get that financial freedom. It doesn't have to be the millionaire. You don't have to be a millionaire. You just have to be smart with your money and prioritize and know what matters. If it's just the mortgage and some of the utilities, that's what matters. Not all that extra spending. Again, social media and the fake lifestyles that are being portrayed on social media right now makes you think that you got to get the car. Honey, I don't got no car note. I'm going to ride that car until the wheels fall off, because I'm not paying anybody's car note for anything that's depreciating. And we really, really need to change our mindset and understand how money works so we can have more of it. We have some billionaires out there that are wearing freaking Levi jeans and a white tee every single day, while people who are struggling financially are going out to get these Gucci belts. Gucci don't even care about you, right? So it's really just changing your perspective of money. And when I became that minimalist, I was ready, because now I wasn't stressing over these frivolous bills that I didn't need. I paid everything off, and then I made the leap of faith, knowing that I would survive because I wasn't having any outstanding bills. We really have to control how we are spending our money. Again, they're trying to get us in every avenue, in every corner, to spend it on everything that we do not need. Clean yourself up internally first, to make sure that you're not spending money on crap that you do not need. And then when that money comes for your business, guess what? You can pay your rent. You can pay your mortgage. You can pay all the things you need, because that's what matters. So that was how I made my biggest leap until I got to where I needed to go. Do what you need to do so you can do what you want to do. Period.
Period. Awesome. Council President Wilkinson?
Can you see me now?
Yes, we can see and hear you perfectly.
So I'm going to be a good example of pushing forward, right? Because you're going to have a lot of things happen to you on this journey of business. You better be flexible and you better keep pushing forward. And so what S.O.A.R is doing is so important for our community. I know that as the councilwoman, that I am going to make sure that I'm here and that I participate in this program. I do want to touch on race really quickly. Stop coming in the room with race. I do believe in Renee. There was an organization that was in the building that I was working in corporate. And I used to stand in front of that door. And one day the owner of that hedge fund came to the door and said, "Hey, is there something you need?" And I said, "No, you're just my inspiration for my office." And so he took me inside and showed me all around. And he said, "Whenever you need inspiration, right, I'll be here. You could come right in. I'll book you a conference room. You can come and sit down." It's a small example of the many people in my journey who don't look like me, who were very helpful in that process. I didn't bring my race relations to the game. I brought who I am, what I can do, and how I can produce. So my PR firm, we had Robert Wood Johnson as clients. Like, we just started out of the gate huge. And I love that, because Sea Line Community Centers in both Patterson and Jersey City, it's all possible, but lead with you. Race is there. We know that. We've been living with it forever. You don't have to enter the room with it, because you already know what it is. When I think about the younger self, I do want to say this, that It's okay to fail. It's okay. A lot of times people fail and they never come back to the table. And that's the problem because you don't start again. I want you to know that it's okay to have your first failure. Make sure you know what you've learned from that and then keep pushing forward. I do believe that. We need to support our young people as family and to really help them usher into entrepreneurship. And Renee, I love what you said. Don't worry about that fear. Assemblywoman Angela McKnight says that all the time. She has multiple businesses. She's an assemblywoman. She says, I don't worry about the fear. And it really is true. So create that nurturing environment for our young people to fail. My daughter, she starts a business maybe once a year. She's now doing lashes. She does candles. My kids know entrepreneurship is there. Play with it, dabble with it until you become great because you will be great. That's my lesson to the young people.
All right. Let's drop some reactions. Put some fire in the chat. Amen. We had a good, I'm saying amen, I'm not in church. We had a great panel.
I'm with you though.
It's just in me. I just can't help myself. We had a great panel discussion. We thank our panelists for sharing those amazing gems about financial independence and wellness. This was just incomparable to anything I've ever experienced. So I just appreciate you all so much for sharing your responses and just sharing with us, sharing with your community. So at this time, really excited to announce that you all as participants have an opportunity to go into a breakout room with one of the panelists. And so there is a little bit of an assignment in the breakout room because remember, this is a networking event. So you're going to introduce yourself, you're going to state your name and organization, and then you're going to say what you need and what you offer. Okay? So name and organization, what you need and what you offer. So we can start making some connections, okay? So I am going to put those breakout room questions in the chat box so we can stay on track. And I am going to create those breakout rooms. So you'll have about, say about 10 minutes in the breakout rooms. So definitely make sure you make those connections quickly. Just checking to make sure we have one panelist in each room. So just bear with me 1 second. All right, I may have to move some people around, but I think we are all set, but I may have to move some people around. So go ahead and click join so you can enter your breakout room. Okay, come on back, come on back. All right. I think we're still waiting on a few more people. Okay, they're coming back now.
Oh man, Tori, we were getting good. Cut our time short.
We were getting good too. I was like,
Right, send us back.
they got me flying to Dallas. They got me.
Oh my gosh, I was like, no, wait.
Yes. Yes. I enjoyed my group.
goodness.
Some powerhouse.
Yes.
Yes, we're excited.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
We are 8:15, right on schedule. All right, so at this time, even though your breakout room conversations have ended, we are going to give an opportunity to our participants to ask questions. So we're going to have a small Q&A portion. So if you are aware of the Zoom functions, you can either use the raise hand feature. So what that will do, it will allow you to come to the front of the Zoom screen, or you can put your question in the chat box, and we'll ask the panel to answer those questions for you. So I'm going to go ahead and repen the panel so we can bring them forward. And yes, please share your questions in the chat box. Any questions for our panel? Okay, so the first question is from Christine Birch. How do you turn your passion into cash? So anyone from the panel would like to answer that? How do you turn your passion into cash?
I think first you need to, oh, you need,
ahead.
I don't
Go
know.
ahead, Alexandra.
Okay. You need to figure out what your passion is first, right? And then how to monetize it. And is it needed? I think that's going to be the big question when starting a business. Is there a need for this service in your niche or in your industry, right? Because we say we can monetize anything, but if you're monetizing something that people do not need at the moment, it may not go far. When I said I failed in my first business, it was my first idea of my dance school. I love hip hop. My passion is dance. But just because I love the evolution of hip hop and all the things that came in that made hip hop, breakdancing, graffiti, beatboxing, that don't mean everybody cared. That doesn't mean everybody cared. So what happened was when I put that school together, no one was booking for those classes. But as a professional dancer, dance is a universal language, kind of like laughter and music and food, right? These are universal languages. So when I changed that passion or that idea into hip hop birthday parties or just dance classes in general, something that was just different, but that can still include everyone, that's when the business skyrocketed. That's when we made our first 30,000 and then 60 and then 90, right? So it has to be, you have to have the two things linked, your passion and the need in your industry, in order for that to start to begin to get monetized. But again, this is something I can help consult you with. So I would just need to know what your passion really is. And then from there, boom, we can go with the business plan. We can start on the branding. We can start on what your storytelling is going to be. We can start all those different things. But we really need to understand how you would approach the market and how you would enter the market.
Thank you. Council President Wilkerson,
Yeah,
did you want to answer that?
I with her 100%. I think we all talked about passion tonight. So you do have to know what you're passionate about so that you can get through this journey. But I also think you need to understand, she said, if it's needed, but who need it as well, right? Because you'll spend your time marketing to a broad group of people, spending all of your money, and really there's only a niche audience for that. And you could have cut your cost in marketing and promotion and really target the people who are most likely to buy. So you have to do your market research to make sure that you understand who you're targeting and what you're targeting them, how you're going to position your product to them.
Thank you. So the next question is, what are some great funding sources for startups? And anyone can answer that.
Well, I think, and uh, I have a nonprofit and I do also have a for-profit. So I have a publishing company and I have my nonprofit. And one of the things that I want to make people understand as a nonprofit, because they're always telling you there's all this money out there and you can get money and you all can get money and you just more money. But there's a process. So again, with the niche, you have to understand what it is that you're doing. Okay, you want to serve, I know someone was doing veterans in our group, Melissa was doing veterans. And now you have to find out where you now you're in a really secluded market. So you have to go to those foundations and those organizations that will support veterans. That is something that they want to give money to. So again, it's not just saying, oh, I'm just going to help. I want to help the cats and dogs, but what is it that, who is going to fund the cats and dogs? And that's really important. Our nonprofit, we promote literacy and independent authors. So we are going to foundations and companies that support literacy in the community. But sometimes it may not only be financial, it may also be, what's the word I'm looking for? So when we host our, I'm losing my words, the author forgot her words. When you can also get in-kind donations. That's the word I'm looking for. So sometimes it's not just the financial piece, but it's also the in-kind. So when you have, and you have to be flexible to know what it is that you need. So for a nonprofit, those are some things that you have to be aware of. Not everybody's going to fund your dream, because as Alexandria said, you can knit yourself out and it may not be needed, or you cannot get what you need. So for nonprofits, I would definitely say do your homework. And that's where the business plan comes into place, because when you do your business plan, it really solidifies for you and it puts it in black and white, what it is that I want to do, who I want to serve, where I'm going to serve, when I'm going to serve, the who, what, where, why, when. And once you have that on paper, then it becomes clear to you, like, maybe this is not going to work as I thought it was. You know, it makes it clear for you, and maybe maybe it won't work, but you just need to tweak it. So that's for the nonprofit side. For the for-profit side, they have all kinds of loans out there that you can take advantage of. Maybe Tamara can speak more to it. But one thing about the loans, just be careful, even though they say, oh, I can give you 100,000, be conscious of how you're taking that money in and how you're going to use it, so that it doesn't overwhelm you. Because somebody will throw money at you and then you start to like, wait a second, I'm choking on the funds. Something is not right here. So definitely do your homework and make sure you know what it is that you want. And if you only need 50, get the 50. Don't get 100 and take 100 because it's out there, because you are going to, it'll hurt you for want of a better word.
And if I can real quick chime in there. So my Chase colleague, Deborah Johnson, is actually in the comments. She just put also a great resource. So is it okay if she also shares really quick?
Sure, I see CDFIs, so Entrepreneur
Yes.
of Color Funds in Newark. Sure, does she want to add something to that? Miss Johnson? You're welcome to come off mute if you want to add something. Or Tamara, if you want to add a little bit more about it.
Well, for the sake of time, I don't want to hold up too much, but definitely what I'll do is in the chat, I'll put in my contact information. That way I can follow up with information for anybody here from the group.
Awesome, thank you. Council President Wilkinson, did you have a question?
No, I just wanted to answer the question. There are a lot of resources out there. You'll be amazed how many corporate entities have a social responsibility arm where they're focused on really kind of social initiatives. And a lot of those social initiatives are about supporting small businesses, especially nonprofits. There are hospitals that will give money out. Most hospitals deal with the nonprofits. I know a hospital, they gave 60 grand to a person, interest-free loan, just to support that community and the work that they were doing in the community. I just want you to be creative. Stay in tune with your industry. Sometimes organizations have challenges socially or their brand reputation, and they will partner with you to correct that. So please pay attention to corporates. Don't think that they don't give money. They do. They really do.
Thank you. So that was our last question for this evening. Again, we want to celebrate, thank, show appreciation to our amazing, amazing panel tonight. I mean, I'm just completely blown away. I can see in the chat box, there were tons of praises. Everyone has been like, wow, this has been such a powerful, impactful event. So I want to, again, share appreciation to our panel for taking the time out to bless us all with your presence, your knowledge, your experience. We are just so grateful that you took the time out, and we're excited. Everyone on the panel was passionate and excited to do this tonight. So I just appreciate that. I could speak on behalf of the S.O.A.R board as the Divine Nine, as we now call ourselves, just appreciating you guys so much. So at this time, I'm going to bring forward our CEO of S.O.A.R, our president, Rosie McCamery, as she's coming forward. Our HR administrator, she's going to put the survey for tonight's event in the chat box. We're asking all the participants, please put your feedback in the survey. We are doing these virtual networking events quarterly. We're changing the themes, we're shaking it up. So please, please fill out the survey so we can hear your feedback and hear from you. And without further ado, for closing remarks, our CEO, our founder, our president, Rosie McCamery.
Thanks, everybody. This was amazing. LaToya, awesome job as usual. You never cease to amaze me. Can you guys hear me? Is everyone, I had to put
Yes,
on,
we can hear you.
okay, awesome. I had to put my headset on because my son is a little fussy right now. So hopefully you can't hear him in the background crying, but I just wanted to take this opportunity. We are at the 3-minute mark. So I wanted to take this opportunity, one, to introduce myself, Rosie McCamery, founder and CEO of this amazing organization where I serve with 8 amazing individuals on our board, our CFO, or excuse me, our COO, our vice president, our director, all of our directors within their respective seats. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight, all of our entrepreneurs, all of our panelists. This was amazing. And, you know, I got 5 minutes to say so much, and I was like bubbling up trying to like interject, but I was like, no, I'm gonna let Toya have the floor because she's doing such an amazing job. But I just wanted to tell you guys how awesome and how amazing this was to be able to host this event as part of our organization. As Toya had mentioned, we do, you know, we strive to empower our youth. Our targeted audience is, you know, 9th through 12th graders, so teens, adolescents, you know, those who are sort of, you know, within that realm of trying to find their way, you know, starting in high school or about to start college and trying to figure out who they are in this world. And we are here to help support their growth. And, you know, this event is really helping us and enabling us to get the word out and enabling us to be able to network and to build strong foundations amongst each other, amongst our own communities. There was so many gems dropped tonight. And I just want, you know, this is recorded, so you all will receive the recording of this. This is amazing. This was amazing. And I can't stress enough how appreciative I am for everyone putting this together, for LaToya doing an awesome job hosting this. She actually came up with the idea in honor of Women's History Month, you know, celebrating our women of color, entrepreneurs, specifically of color, in, you know, doing what they do best. And that's just being rock stars. You know, we are mothers, we are wives, we are sisters, we are daughters, we are entrepreneurs, we are everything, all wrapped up in one beautiful bow. And, you know, God is amazing because without him, there would be no us, and we would not have the ability to do what we do. So to God be the glory for that, first and foremost, and above all. But thank you all. Thank you so much for taking this opportunity to Mara, to Renee, to Council President Wilkerson, to Alexandra Bernard, oh gosh, Alexandra. I don't want to get anybody's name. Girl, you gave me life tonight, honey. You got me all riled up, and I was just like, yes, everything she was saying. I was writing it all down. So I just wanna thank you all so much. It is 8:30 now. We are done with this event, but we are not done with our mission. And we will continue doing what we do best, and that is outreach. That is, bringing our communities together, bridging that gap, building that generational wealth for our generations to come. I got babies that are counting on me to set them up for success. And so it's not just about me anymore. And so that's what I have to think. When I think of generational wealth, I'm thinking about my babies. I'm thinking about these youth out here who need these platforms, who are not afforded, or may not be afforded the opportunity to be able to have these resources at their disposal. So the fact that you all have provided or offered yourselves as these resources as within this space, and for S.O.A.R to be doing what we're doing together, we are going to accomplish so much. Together we can do so much. We can conquer the world. Alexandra, you got me thinking I can conquer everything, honey. I know that the Bible says I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. But yes, you gave me life, and I'm telling you, I can do it. So thank you guys so much for that. I would love to say so much more, but I want to respect your time, and I want to honor, or acknowledge the fact that we did a lot for an hour and a half, and we are right at that hour and a half mark. That being said, though, we do have a couple of prizes. See, we mentioned that. We didn't forget about that. We do have a couple of prizes. The one raffle, or we called it raffles, but we're actually just going to kind of just spot prize or give these prizes away on spot. And actually the first prize is going to go, and we'll have to kind of go through the list to see who was logged on first. We'll have to go through the list and see who was logged on first. That I think I remember, because I had to let some of you all in. But whoever was logged on first, that individual, you will see, I'm all excited. I'm all tongue twisted. You will receive a $25 gift card, virtual gift card, on behalf of S.O.A.R Hospitality and Travel. We want to thank you and appreciate you for taking the time, and for counting it not robbery to be with us tonight. The second one, I'm thinking of a number, and I want everyone at this time, because we have to think of something on the fly, right? We got to be creative. There's all that creativity in my brain. I'm thinking of a number between 1 and 100, and I want you all to drop that number. Everyone except the panelists and except the board. Everyone but you. But we love you. We appreciate you. Everyone but you, drop a number, and I'm going to text it to LaToya, just so that
numbers coming in.
I know. I'm sorry. All right, so I see a lot of numbers. I'm going to text LaToya really quickly the number that I have in my brain, and I'm going to ask LaToya if she would call that number out, and that is the individual who will receive the second $25 gift card, virtual. And then we'll have to make sure we get your name, so we don't forget about you.
Can it be the closest to that number?
It can be the closest, yes. 5 within 2 digits, up or down. Okay. And then it might get a little tricky if it is if somebody has it between those two. So yes,
I think we have it. Are we closing the submission portion? So no more submissions?
No more submissions.
Okay, so the winner is Melissa Stubblefield.
Oh my goodness. And this was not rigged, but that is my sister. My sister, Melissa Stubblefield. She is a rock star. She is doing her own thing, and she, in her consulting business and her organization, Angels Live. So shout out to my sister who's on. I saw her and I was like, hi, my sister. Got all excited. So this was not rigged. That's why I texted to Toya.
What was the number? 85?
Yes, it was 85 was the number. 85 was the number. And lastly, now these are for you local folks. We're going to do one more, Toya, one more number. And this number here is going to get you 1 free pass, 1 lunch with the CEO of S.O.A.R Hospitality and Travel. Who is that? Oh, that's me. So 1 free lunch meal or dinner, preferably lunch though. Y'all seen the gas prices, right? So we're gonna stick with lunch at the lower end. All right, I'm gonna send Toya the text, and I'm gonna ask Toya to call out this number, and we're gonna go from all the numbers that are already. Okay, all right. Well, then we're gonna start over because it looks like y'all putting numbers back in the chat again. It's from 1 to 100, and you can go ahead and put your numbers in if you're. And you have to be local for this, unfortunately, unless you want to do a virtual lunch. I've never done a virtual lunch outside of work, so that would be something we could consider. I could buy you lunch. We send DoorDash to your door. I have my lunch, and we can do this. Listen, space and opportunity. I'm all about it. All right, so I just sent Latoya the number. 2 up or 2 down, Latoya?
Well, we don't have anyone too close.
Oh, okay.
So maybe we'll, yeah.
Uh-oh,
Okay. Now we got someone
yeah.
very close.
I just saw it myself.
Yes, Jackie is the winner. The
Jackie,
number was
hey.
34.
All right, Jackie, I'm gonna need your full name though, just so that we can identify you, and I make sure that we hopefully you're registered. Everybody on the line should have registered, and that way we have your information so that if when we log off, we don't lose any of you, and we can continue this dialogue and continue this networking with you all even after this event tonight. Jackie Arnett. So congratulations to our winners, Melissa Stubblefield. I'm writing this down. Jackie Arnett and Latoya. Who was the third person?
Well, the third person would have been the first one on. We have to look at who
Oh, the
that
first person. Yes, first person on. Yes, so congratulations to our winners for tonight. We love you. We appreciate you. Give yourselves a round of applause. Thank you all so much for being here with us tonight. We are blessed. We are honored. We are grateful to our panelists again, Alexandra, Denise, Tamara, Renee, Latoya, and to our entire S.O.A.R board, to all of our guests online today. You guys rock, and we love you. We thank you. We appreciate you, and look out for us. Once again, let me go on and share my screen so that you all can see what we're doing for our community. Please, please, please spread the word. Let them know what we're doing. Let them know, let them know, let them know. Let me just share really quick so you can take a screenshot of it or do whatever you need to do. This is what's coming. This is what's coming up next. The Spring Series 2022. We need you all to get behind us, rally behind us, send your kids. If you go to our website, below the flyer here, there is a click to enroll button that will take you to the application. Parental consent is required because most of the students are under the age of 18. If they are 18 or older, which means they're probably going to be seniors, then they can enroll without parental consent. But please, please spread the word about this amazing event. Tamara is actually going to be teaching for this series, so we're super excited about that. If anyone's interested in partnering with us, if anyone's interested in helping us expand our reach, please reach out to myself, reach out to Latoya, reach out to our HR director, Tiana Garner, who is on the line with us. And if there are no further questions, if no one has any further comments, that's it. Help us soar. Thank you guys so much, and have an awesome night.
Thank you.
Good night,
Good night, everybody.
Bye,
Good everyone. Thank you so much for your support.
Thank you.
Thank
Good night.
you.
Good
Good night,
night.
everybody.
Good night, everyone.
Good
Love
night,
ya.
everyone. Love
Was
you.
great.
Thank you
Wonderful.
so much for your support.
Yeah, Toya did a good job.
Yes, you
Thanks,
did.
Mom.
Oh, yes. Never ceases to amaze me. Panelists, thank you so much. That was so much fun. That was amazing. And the time went by so fast.